I was listening back to the last pod and heard as things went on that I was getting progressively more drunk. And listening back to Curly's story, I realized sober that there was no chance I would do what I say I did.
Fair enough. Get your honesty out of the way, because this episode is all about lying. So that's why I'm excited. Yeah, but I guess before we jump into that, I kind of want to hear a little bit about how was your week, what happened, did anything exciting happen, or are you ready to give me the weekly title?
Nah, mate, this is, there's no doubt that I had the more interesting week because I had the great pleasure of going camping at this beautiful Bladensburg National Park in outback Queensland. Absolutely stunning place. I was there with some mates, a few drinks. We had damper, we had, cooking stews and all kinds of stuff. It was fantastic. We went for a group run the next day before we went to the races, and the races were great. I'm not much of a better. I did bet on a few and I lost all of them. I'm not going to make a single horse racing bet again. But the highlight of the night, without question, or maybe it was the low.
Oh my God!
Because it was pretty chaotic.
Kissed a
Come
girl?
on, bro. We know I don't. You know I don't kiss girls. There was a fight actually, and I've been in the outback for about a year and a half now, and all I've ever heard of is the fights that happen in the country. People can have a few drinks, and there's always a biff. And I haven't seen a single one until that night. And I tell you what, it was hectic. It was from the campsite right next door to us, and things got pretty hectic all of a sudden. I was just chilling in my swag, very, very, very drunk and tired at that point. And then suddenly, people are being thrown into our party's cars, and this fight escalated. And I think it's that some pretty serious stuff has come as a result of that. But the first Outback Biff, it was kind of like a rite of passage. I was glad to tick that one off, but hopefully don't encounter that one again.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, Dos, what have you been doing, mate?
Like lots of stuff. So hey, got out of lockdown. That was really exciting.
Hell yeah,
and
dude.
Yeah, it was pretty hype. And then about 45 minutes ago, got announced that we're back into lockdown. So there you go. Bit of that old-fashioned.
Mate, I don't even know what lockdown is, bro.
Oh, mate. Down here, it's like you treat them mean and then you get them the vaccine. But the trick is you never supply enough vaccines. That's the secret.
Right. You're not a huge, you don't have a great deal of opposition towards lockdowns, though, personally, do you?
No. Well, only because I've missed out on most of it. So there's still a novelty to me, I feel. And it's a good opportunity to, shut yourself off from the world for a little bit. Which, no, I'm sounding like a loser. Again. 2 weeks in a row.
I've got Outback Biffs, camping, races. You've got a cake. Maybe you baked a cake, dude. Maybe that'll redeem your story.
Bro, I'd take a cake right now. I would be very happy if I had a cake. All right, but I think you even set me up for this. I get excited. I'm talking to someone. I'm excited. I'll talk about those boring stuff if I have to. Just keep talking to me, please.
Well, luckily for you listening at the moment, there is nothing boring about what's to come. You're listening to the Rogue Guide, and today's Rogue Guide is an extra special one. It's something that can be pretty tricky for many people. In fact, I've got some interesting stats on how successful online dating is. Dos, online dating, you're quite prolific in the dating scene. What are your personal thoughts on it?
Well, I want to say this first, that I actually was very, I'd say opposed to online dating before Corona.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know if it was just because I was unsuccessful and just didn't like it.
You were outspoken about how much you disliked it, and you thought that your natural skills and talents weren't portrayed very well on the format, if I remember correctly.
100%, exactly. I wasn't strong. People couldn't hear me, and passion, my giggling and all that, and like my eyes. Girls love my eyes, but you can't really see them on the dating app. So it was a struggle, but because of Corona, everybody was forced to adapt, and so I adapted with the times. And
do you reckon that you've flourished with that adaptation?
Oh, mate, put me in any situation, I'll flourish. I'll put the stamp of it. A docile guarantee on that.
Well, I personally, I've been using it for a very, very long time. Mostly Tinder. You sort of opened my eyes to a few other different ones, which I've got some thoughts on. I'm not super impressed by them, to be honest. I find that Tinder is the gold standard still.
Give Grindr a chance. It'll come good.
Okay. Oh man, you've thrown me, dude.
As ever, good ball. You gonna edit that one out, eh? Mr. Sir,
mate,
edit a lot.
I'm no cat. I'm gonna get a call from you afterwards, like, oh mate, just edit out what I've been doing for the week. It's gonna make me sound like a loser. I can't have our first few episodes.
That weekly segment is the update segment is not going to last.
It's on the cutting block for sure.
It has to be. No one loves it. By all accounts I've heard back, it's been a very negative reviews.
But as far as online dating goes, yeah, I've been on it for a while, for a long time, which is quite interesting. And well, as far as the successfulness I've had on the online apps, it's up for debate, actually. I guess I'm a bit old-fashioned, but I've had my fair share of successes. Doss, it sounds like you have as well, which makes us the perfect people to be giving a guide on what it takes to be successful.
Well, I guess, I don't know how you measure success, but we're both singles. Short-term success, maybe. But, they say short-term success, long-term gain, maybe.
I've never heard that, dude.
You're about to hear it. Well, so I guess the way I look at it, online dating is very much it's a roulette. It's just a roulette table. It's just a big old gamble. And we're here to help you count the cards. And we're gonna trick the casino, and we're all gonna reap our
counting
rewards.
cards on the roulette table. Which casino do you go to?
Oh shit.
I thought you were big on roulette, right? Roulette's your game. You're notorious for the roulette.
Oh god!
And you're gonna have them count the cards.
this bloody lockdown, man! I don't know what it's like to be at the casino anymore. I've lost touch with reality. Oh man! Well, actually, I still think that's a perfect analogy then for dating and the advice that we give.
You know what? Actually, it's the perfect metaphor. So, what is it? What's step one in the road guide to having a absolutely banging online dating profile?
Catfish. Simple. It's that easy, everybody. You just portray yourself in your best light. Like, if you looked good in 2012, well then, damn, post that pic, king. Get that shit out there. Let people know that you looked good in 2012.
This isn't exactly the self-help message that we're trying to promote. How severely should you catfish, in your honest opinion, for step one?
Don't edit the photos. You can't edit. That's cheating. But if if there was an unrealistic angle that the photo was taken, and you looked good, then yeah, so be it. You know this here's one for the little men out in the world. You know how there's those mirrors that look really tall? Take a photo in one of them. You don't get
wow.
Because you look tall, and then the rest of them, you have close-ups and all the rest of it, and make sure there's no one else that people can measure their height against. So no group photos for the short people. But look, if you put on a bit of weight in COVID, then don't put up any photos, because that's your potential. And what do you want from a partner? You want a partner to bring out the best in you, and by bringing out the best, then bringing out the catfish.
You know what? That took a turn actually to the inspiring, dude. You went from horrible advice and definitely a very bad way to put our first foot forward on this to something that was really actually motivating and uplifting. So there you go. Catfishing. I can even get behind that. I can approve that method, considering as what the intention is.
That's it.
Step two, a little bit more measured from yours truly. I reckon it's all about knowing your strengths. Now, it kind of goes without saying. You're not going to put, obviously, your worst foot forward. You're not going to put your worst pics or even your worst chat forward. But you got to know your game. Sometimes, if you're a particularly good-looking person, you may not have the best chat. You may never have had to rely on it. You may have never really had to talk to people to get anywhere in life. So I wouldn't lean too hard into, trying to be funny or trying to be quirky or anything like that in the bio. Maybe just settle for having your images and pics do the talking for you. Meanwhile, though, if you've had to actually resort to developing a good personality and a sense of humor to compensate for maybe other parts that haven't, don't look so good, the bio is definitely your time to shine. I think we've seen examples online, Dos, countless quality examples of really, really hilarious or interesting or unique, one-of-a-kind bios that I'm sure, I can't speak on behalf of the girls, but I imagine would be getting a lot of right swipes.
Mate, I feel like this is just sophisticated catfishing. You've just found a different way of saying exactly what I said. Like, if you're a looker, have diverse picks, play to your strengths. Like, that's the same thing. Yeah, if your strengths were 2012, then play to that. That's all I'm hearing. I'm hearing catfish talking to a catfish here.
All right, so let me get this straight then, Dos. Step 1 is catfish. Step 2 is catfish.
Is sophisticated catfish. Step 3. Well, I guess step 3 has to be how to catch a catfish. So obviously,
it's only right.
Yeah.
It seems like everyone's out here just catfishing. You got to know how to catch a catfish.
Exactly. And there's a knack to it. And obviously, the first step is you got to get off the dating apps. So you got to get off the dating apps because, otherwise it's just they're in control of their image on the dating apps. But say if you're like, oh hey, what's your Instagram? What's your Facebook? And then you add them on Facebook, you add them on Instagram, and once you're on their profile, obviously it's still all their best pics. So from there, you go onto their tagged photos, and then all of a sudden the tagged photos.
Oh my God.
And the photos that their friends have put up where they don't give a shit what their friend looks like because it's not about them.
Yeah. Classic, the stitch up.
Yeah, so that's where you start to see a little bit more a real nature of it. And the same on Facebook. Birthdays on Facebook are great, obviously, because everybody posts the worst photos about that person. So you get a good catfish exposure on birthday o'clock.
This is incredible, dude. We've so far, in the span of like 20 minutes, pretty much described 3 really sus things. We've got catfishing, and then you've gone into some really sort of advanced stalking and potential harassment fields.
Stalking? I'm here to help people. I'm trying to avoid, the dreaded catfish.
No, but that's pretty good, dude. As far as that's an advanced strategy. I'll admit I've been pretty shallow with my because I think we can all admit when you feel a certain way about someone, you go to all sorts of lengths to find out what they do online and whatnot. I don't think that's unfair to say. But
Wait, what?
On Instagram, wait, what?
What are you stalking there? Online status? What was that?
That's what you just described in Mabel words.
It's still them doing the stuff. It's just you're just trying to get it. Look, so what you look at then, you want to get a medium of their bad photos and their good photos. Usually they sit in the middle of that. Doesn't that make sense? I think that makes perfect sense to me. And if you're still attracted to that middle, then game on. Yeah,
brilliant. All right. Well, so far it's been a dark journey. It's definitely been a dark voyage. Online dating, I think, actually,
that is
this was going to be a dark episode. So let's get a little bit wholesome. Let's look at something that's actually, potentially uplifting, and that is the strategy of casting your net far and wide and in advance. It's no secret by now. I mean, it's 2021. I think we all know that you can change your location. So say you're traveling to Melbourne in October, spend a couple of weeks with Dos, away from the searing outback heat into the frigid, cold Victorian weather. If it's not in lockdown, which I'm not liking my chances, quite frankly. You could set your location in advance to Melbourne. Swipe left, swipe right, or Hinge or whatever, grind or whatever it takes, quite frankly, to find the one. Or better yet, this is a very advanced strat. don't settle just for Australia. You could find, if there's somewhere in the world that you really want to live, I reckon just religiously swipe and search in that area. I mean, for example, you could find the right girl in the small fishing town of Dalvik, Iceland, marry into a herring fishing family, spend the rest of your days enjoying sunsets and watching whales in the harbour. That's
Did
just
you Google that?
That's
Did you
just off
Google
the
that
cuff.
town?
Right? That's no dream of mine, dude. That's just off the cuff. Just my geographical knowledge is wide and advanced.
Damn. That is
and Helga's
vast
there, dude.
knowledge.
I'm telling you, she's there. She'll swipe right to me one day, dude. I'm telling you. But I reckon that's
she's
that's
there
just
in
a
like
good way
the
to
world's strongest women's throwing contest. Isn't that what Iceland's
bro,
famous for?
No way, dude. Strong girls are hot, dude. Come on, what are you talking about?
Instead of the rock, she'll throw you.
Well, as long as we can enjoy those sunsets and enjoy the time on the boat together and all that kind of stuff, I'm here for it, dude. But that's I reckon an uplifting step 4.
Yeah. Well, before you hit the sunset up, I think we both can agree on that step 5 is the most important step of all when it comes to online dating. And it's simple, plain and simple. Have no hope. Love is dead.
Preach.
It's that easy. The world is that. It's not as hard as what you think. The world is very much black and white, and love is not a part of that black and white.
No. Don't kid yourself. Don't fool yourself. Don't be unrealistic and think that there's love out there for you. Because from our expert experience, 27 and 26 years, over 50 years of cumulative experience, we can conclusively say it's love. There's no hope. No hope for any of us. Love's dead. Damn. It's over.
Have you even had like a relationship?
Yeah, I mean, I've had it.
Wait, you did? Yeah, I completely forgot. A lot more recently to me as well.
On a serious note, the apparently 80% of people that are on Tinder or on dating apps have never met someone in real life from those dating apps. 80%. How crazy is that?
Well, I think that actually aligns with one of my favorite stats, and that's that 90% of people are socially retarded.
Oh, wait, it lines up perfectly.
It does. There's that 10% that make the big dive. They take the extra risk, and 90% of people are socially awkward, and online dating is the absolute platform for it.
Yeah. It's realistically what I actually really love about online, like the swipe apps, Tinder, for example. It's fun. I consider it fun. I rarely use it. Obviously, when I'm out and about, I probably have a bit of a swipe. But I've swiped right thousands, possibly millions of times. And the amount of times that's translated, a lot of the time you'll get chat and it could be dry, it could be fun for a little while. But the amount of times that translates into something actual compared to the amount of times that you spend swiping and then getting capped for swipes. I've been there so frequently. It's rare, dude. I mean, quite frankly, when you look at it in the big picture, it's definitely not 80% or 20% of swipes that translated to something per person. That's for sure.
I'm just amazed that you're running out of swipes in Longreach in this town of like 100 people.
I don't swipe in.
What is your range,
dude? I don't.
What is your range,
dude? No. Dude, my range only has to be 2 kilometers, and that will capture the entire town, bro. Like, I could do 1 kilometer, and it'd be 90% of the town. No.
Well, that's why your range is set to Iceland, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I gotta plan the escape. That's pretty much it. But there you go. That's it sounds pretty conclusive, Dos, that we aren't necessarily the biggest fans or advocates for online dating after all.
No, maybe not. maybe this wasn't the best way to go about things. But yeah, but also maybe it's just because you have a really weak profile.
What?
I'm currently looking at it.
Did you find me on Tinder, bro? On Grindr?
I told you to get on it.
You found me, dude.
I said you'd reap some rewards, and I'm just that reward. Oh man, there are some serious red flags here.
What?
Like I'm having
You're
having a
actually kidding.
geeze.
No,
I'm having a
you're actually
geeze.
having a laugh.
Bro, is there even a photo from like this decade?
What are you talking about? That's one from literally a few days ago, bro.
Alright, barring that photo that's recent, there is some serious photos from like before I think we're even friends. And you've got
that's ludicrous. You are stitching me up here, dude. This is totally fabricated lies, defamatory. If I
Alright,
can
so
say.
before he keeps calling me out, the photos will be in the show notes, so you can have a look and justify it. But yeah, there's even a shirtless pic here. That's cute. 6'1's cute as well.
Last year, dude. I am 6'1", bro. What are you talking about?
That's adorable. And
I'm a light 6'1".
And why is your job? Why is your job presenter on the radio and not supreme podcaster? Vastly successful podcaster.
You're right. Actually, I should change that, considering that's where most of my income comes from.
Holy shit! I've just seen something. Best travel story. One of his Hinge prompts. What happens in Montenegro stays in Montenegro. There is no way you were telling that story on a dating app. There is no way. I actually agree. What happened in Montenegro must stay in Montenegro, which is in Ecuador when we were traveling together. Holy shit! There was some. Oh man,
hey, mate, do you know what the supreme irony of that is? What happens in Montenegro stays in Montenegro. But you've vlogged most of the Montenegro footage that we've got.
Yeah. Because it was a good bloody time. Yeah, but I'm not bringing out that story.
No. That's definitely a deep cut for sure. But that story's, I think I've got one prompt off that, which is pretty good considering as I get I've got 5 lifetime hits on Hinge. It's been a drought for me on Hinge. Different story on Tinder. I could basically open it now and swipe right and just match with every single person who have previously matched with me. No joke. Not bragging. I probably should have said that at the start.
Definitely a brag.
I should have said that at the front of the episode to let them know that I'm serious business. I'm telling you, I give my phone to people at parties. It's a party trick at this point. I give my phone to someone at a party and I say, go to Tinder, swipe right, and boom, it's a match all night until they run out of swipes, and that's it. I'm looking big, dude.
This is ridiculous. And sorry, I've told you this last week. This podcast is not a brag. We're here to help people, and you're sitting here helping yourself. You're just sitting here feeding your ego.
They need to know we're qualified. All right, listen. All right, I this is tough. I want to come after you, but your Tinder profile's actually made me laugh, so I'm going to leave that to you. Let's see. What's happening on your Hinge? God, what are you skinning an animal in that picture where your bloody gun's on the side? That's disgusting, dude.
What are people looking at though? My biceps or the animal that's strapped in?
Is that the idea? Okay, seriously though, what creature is that? Is that a dog?
No, it's an alpaca. I was shearing an alpaca. Like a country boy.
Yeah, no, okay. It's fair cop. It's a good picture. I don't feel strongly about this picture with the gold palace in the background. Those hats look absolutely terrible, dude. Don't tell Vines this, but bloody, it's not a good look. Captain Morgan hats. And this, dude,
listen, they were free. They were free. If it's a freebie, you wear it. It's a marketing ploy. But when you've got a model, people are going to give you free stuff.
Mate, you are, and I don't understand this, but you are the king of basic. You are the most basic dude I've ever met in my life. Your comment, you should leave a comment if you're a little crazy with the crazy emoji. Come on, dude. Seriously?
I don't know if that's had much success.
No, I don't think so, dude. I think that's a red flag. Again, a really nice picture. I can't knock you on that. And it's recent as well. I think that was a waterfall picture when you were with Jed a few months ago or something, wasn't it? Last year, maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it was end of last year, yeah.
I take pride in being the family disappointment. I reckon that probably gets you a fair few hits.
Oh, you don't know the half of it.
At least you're shooting for your demographic as well of disappointment. So that's fair.
Oh,
Fishing in
mate,
the
you
right
got to
area.
get them comfortable in being disappointed before you get involved. That way, their expectations aren't too high.
Yeah, exactly. This is what you signed up for. You even selected that prompt. You know what
Yeah.
you're getting.
You super like me, girl. I'm bringing that disappointment.
Love the picture again. I can't really fault the pictures you've chosen here. Very, very well done. 6'4". I wish I could get at you for 6'4" as well, but it's probably a little bit closer to my 6'1" than my 6'1" is.
That's my personality.
And
Right
again,
there.
this is one that surely doesn't get you any swipes. All I ask is that you embrace the weirdness of life. Come on, dude.
Bro, that's my
It's
biggest
cute.
hit.
It's cute. No, it isn't. It's cute.
I'm not even kidding.
You are kidding.
I'm not. It's genuine. Everyone's like, "Oh man, that's so good." Like, yeah, I'm really weird. And then I'm like, "What?" Then I asked her, I'm like, "What's the weirdest thing you've done?" And holy shit, I've had some fucked up responses to that.
Oh, I was expecting some really lame ones, like,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Sometimes I'll talk on the phone while I'm driving a car.
I was thinking of some real placid stuff, like,
Yeah.
I put my socks on before I get dressed, like something like
Oh,
that.
that's crazy.
But, instead I've had this stuff like, girls like, I was at this pub and then I peed in the bin while everybody was standing there. And I'm just like, what? I'm like, this is your second message you've ever sent me.
You didn't even say hello.
Yeah, and your third photo is you at church.
Oh, that
man.
is brilliant. Dos, I've got to say, I've always prided myself on my profiles, and I feel like you've definitely rated me harshly. But I must say, your profiles are actually on point. Oh, and just quickly, before we'll cap it off here, Dos's Tinder bio. This can't be original. Taller than Liam Hemsworth, funnier than Chris Hemsworth, better looking than Luke Hemsworth, more likely to take you out than all three. I reckon that's actually gold, dude.
Well, that is original, mate. Came up with that one
You are
myself,
kidding.
to be honest.
You are kidding.
Yeah.
I'm impressed,
Genuine.
man. I'm impressed. We qualified.
Yeah,
Between
we've
me and
definitely
my
qualified.
handing the phone over to get people to match and blow their minds, and your actual good profile, I tell you what, we could be onto something here.
It could be a market. Why are we single? I don't understand that part of things.
Yeah, actually, that is a massive bloody smudge on our name. But we'll brush that one under the rug real quick, because it's about
Where it
time,
belongs.
Dos, that we get our mystery guest on.
Oh,
And-
I'm ready.
Are you ready? Because our mystery guest, it seems like we've run out of friends. We had Curly last week, and we're already resorting to none other than Hayden's very own brother, Darcy Slater.
Well, I don't know if we've actually run out of friends or we haven't even touched on friends, because Curly's my roommate and Darcy's my brother. I'm starting to think you don't even know anyone. Your town is so ill-populated. There's no one there.
You're turning this on me?
Yeah, unprepared. This wasn't in the run sheet, was it?
All right, enough of that. Darcy, how's it going, mate?
That's for you.
Oh, it's gonna be like that, right?
See, this is what I fucking was worried about. I can't do this. Nah.
I didn't know
back
it
up.
was,
We can get someone else in.
the actual
No,
introduction. Or was that
What do you
the
mean?
practice?
What more of a segue
Darcy,
do you need?
you've been waiting all day ever since Dos was like, "Hey, mate, come on the podcast." You have just been waiting to sabotage, and we knew it.
Is that?
Oh.
And we still went into the
I was
trap.
still shocked by how dead that air was back there, dude.
Oh.
So Darcy, well, we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon, but can you introduce yourself first? Who are you? What do you do? And a bit about yourself.
Well, my name's Darcy. I'm Hayden's brother. I'm a software engineer, and that's about it.
No, you're a YouTube sensation. Let's get to the good stuff.
Oh, I've got a small YouTube
How'd
channel
you get fame
with
on Twitch?
a few million views.
All right, man. You sound like your update is as interesting as Doss's is. So that must run in the
My
family.
weekly updates.
Darcy,
Oh,
you've
damn
walked
it.
into a segment of the pod that we like to have a mystery guest on. They come on, they tell us a bit of a story, a bit of a scenario that happened in their life, and you're coming to the big dogs, you're coming to your big brother and your big brother's mentor, and we'll give you a bit of advice on what we would have done in your boots, and then you'll let us know what you did in that situation. Do you comprehend that, little fella?
Yeah, I get that.
All right, mate. Today's theme, I suppose, was online dating profiles and the like. Do you?
Well, he would have heard because he's an avid listener.
I don't. But he's not. It's not like he's listening live, though, dude. So Darcy, Dos tells me that you're not that prolific on the dating scene, but I'm sure you've got a dating story or two that you can possibly share.
See, I'd have to disagree with Dos on this one. In terms of online dating,
Don't
I'm the
listen to
king.
him. He's throwing me.
I may be the king of Geelong, but I'm the king of the online.
All right, mate. This is your chance to prove it. Give us a scenario of whether it was something that happened online or something that happened as a result of some success on the online dating field. Take it away. Tell us the first part of your story, and we'll go from there.
All right, so I was on Tinder as usual, the old Tindering. And I matched with this girl who's really attractive and chatty and stuff, and it's going well.
You don't have to
and
lie.
She says the chatting wasn't going well. She was still really attractive, and
Don't use her name because she'll probably
Yeah,
be
she'll
listening.
definitely be
that's
listening.
true.
She's a fan.
Most
She's a fan.
Yeah, I'd actually say her name, but I can't remember it. So
Oh, epic, bro. Epic, big player.
Oh, big dog.
all I remember is her face was a bit moon shaped, not like a
Okay.
lunar eclipse, sort of like
What?
a full moon.
Like a
Like
crescent
not a full
moon?
moon, like a slightly waning full moon.
So she's really attractive, and her face is shaped like a crescent moon.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going, bro. Your story so far isn't contradicting itself at all.
So this is when I had my old car that it was mostly running fine. Ran fine for like 5 years, but I was starting to get a little bit of issues with it, but it was still sort of working. And then she says to come over. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to head on over. And so she lived near where I used to live. So I knew the area really well. And so I hop in my car, start driving over there. And as I'm driving, a couple of cars like flash me. And I realize the lights of my car aren't working.
Oh,
And so I pulled over halfway, and I'm like, well, shit. Like, I know cops are in this area. Actually, it's more than halfway. I was nearly there. I pulled over, checked my lights. They just weren't working. And I knew this area, like, cops were always in that area. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to have to keep going, and then I'll figure it out when I'm there. And, like, maybe I'll stay the night or...
What? Wait. Why was that your reaction?
no, hang on.
Oh,
He actually has a good
I
point.
better keep
'cause
breaking the
this-
law.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll stay the night. I'll drive in the morning. I don't need my lights. That should be good. So I get to this girl's house, and like she's there. The moon face is beaming at me.
I'm happy for you, bro.
And yeah, then so we get in there, and she's got kittens, and I'm like, hell yeah, like
Yeah.
this is the only pussy I want.
Oh.
And so I'm patting the kittens and stuff.
Oh. God damn it.
But the problem is the smell is awful. Like these kittens shit like no tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm a cat
And-
person, and cat smell can definitely be unpleasant if it's not a hygienic environment. That's for sure.
Yeah, and so the house just reeked of cat shit.
Oh,
So we get into a room. There's
Jesus.
just a mattress on the floor. The room's about the size of the mattress.
bro.
Hey, don't knock the mattress on the
Mattress
floor.
on the floor. Oh, don't get me started on
And then-
mattress on the floor, dude.
And then I get the deed done, and then I'm laying there, and I'm like, and it was so fucking hot. This is in summer. She has this shitty
This
little
is Queensland
rattly fan
summer.
that's so loud,
Humidity.
and it's like clicking, just blowing hot air in my face. It reeks of cat shit.
Oh my god, bro.
And all I want to do is go home, and I'm just sitting there pondering what I'm gonna do. So what would you guys have done?
Amazing situation. This is complicated, dude.
Mate, I'm gone. I'm leaving the car there. I'm Ubering it home, and I'm just never going to pick up the car
dude.
again.
Look at that.
By the sounds of it. This Tinder, I'll give you the keys. That's all yours.
How much is the
out.
car worth? Because Dos has really come from outside the box on this one. How much do you
Well,
think
the car was a
worth?
write-off, so I couldn't sell it to anyone.
So it's worth
I could only
nothing.
sell it to like the tip, like wreckers and stuff, which they'd only give me maybe like $200 max.
Yeah, probably $100 because that's what happened to my car.
Easy.
Yeah. Like I think I ended up getting 200, but that's because I went to a bunch of places. But most just said 100. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm leaving it. $200, that's nothing. That's a night out. You know, I get home, you get to have a shower first thing. And you got an air
Decontaminate yourself.
You relax. Yeah, really scrub. Yeah, I'm leaving the car.
Oh gosh, that's really tough. I don't know if I could leave the car. I don't know if I would definitely want to get out of there. I wouldn't have maybe thought of doing an Uber, but that's also because I've never really Ubered much, you know, being from regional places / where I am now, where there is no Uber. There's barely even a taxi. In that situation, what would I be doing? There's cats everywhere. Are the cats sleeping with you?
No, they're in like the next room.
They've got their own room.
Yeah.
Is she sleeping? Are you like sweating?
Yeah, she's asleep. I'm just lying there looking at the ceiling, covered in sweat.
No, actually, I mean, I should have let Dos go. I should have gone before Dos because since I've heard Dos's suggestion, it actually sounds like an absolute ripper. I've got. There's no way. I'm.
If I'd
saying
have thought of that, that honestly would have been such a good story.
I've left for
Leaving
so
your
much.
car.
Like I've left for so much better. Like I've been in much nicer situations and still left. So I've got to say, if not knowing what Dos said, maybe I would have just like. How far away from home were you?
It's probably about 20 minutes.
Yeah. I would have slept in the car. I know your car. It's kind of like my Celica. When I used to have my Celica, I'd put the back seats down. It'd be like a bed. Mate, I would have just pulled the car off down the street, turned the corner, slept in the back of the car. Problem solved. Original answer. Boom, baby.
So what
Give you
happens
money's
when
worth.
the next morning because she had work in the morning, she gets
So you
out of the
stayed.
house
You
and
stayed
walks,
essentially.
and walks,
So you
walks past
stayed,
your
you
car and sees you sleeping in it.
Hey, that's like that's
To
a bit
be
of a
fair,
wake-up
that honestly
call.
would have been better than actually happened.
Okay, so we've managed to
Alright,
suggest
tell us what happened.
two,
Tell us what happened.
two responses that a normal person would have resorted to, but I'm hoping this doesn't get too grisly, dude.
Not really. So I ended up staying, and so she had work in the morning, which is good because I'm like, okay, an excuse to like leave. So I wake up like pretty much at like dawn, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta go. So I hop in my car, and I'm like, all right, time to get out here. I go to start my car. It doesn't start.
Oh no.
I'm like, please. It's just spluttering. I'm like, please, thank you. Like, I didn't sleep at all. I'm tired as shit. And so I called RACQ, and then I think the estimate was like, oh yeah, we should be able to get you within 2 hours. I'm like,
Oh
what the fuck?
no.
And I literally,
Sally, leave the car. Just leave
I
it.
saw her like leave the house to go to work, and I just hid in the car.
Oh my
Head
goodness.
and then yeah, so he ended up coming, got it started, got home, and then as soon as I got home, I spat on my car, and I'm like, I'm taking you to the tip.
That was breaking point.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, you failed me in my time of
I was
need.
tossing it up, and yeah, that just pushed me over. The car just let me down when I.
I'm
needed it.
amazed you stayed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you didn't
this
sleep
shit,
a
to be
week
honest.
then,
I'm
right?
very
You
amazed
didn't
you
sleep at
stayed.
all, did you?
I sometimes have that where I just don't sleep. But that was
That's a whole different podcast. Not here for mental demons.
No, I just mean like when you run next to a chick.
All right, Dos, wrap him up before he starts looking for some bloody therapy or something.
And like sometimes you just calm yourself to sleep at night.
Thanks. Thanks for coming on. We do appreciate the story. Yeah, it was a bit different, a bit unique, but that's what we come to expect from us later. So, yeah, we appreciate that.
Thanks for having me, as a brother and as a friend, and as a podcast guest.
On your Darcy. But, Dos, do you remember, on the topic of dating, do you remember dating in primary school?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. That was my peak.
Oh, you know what? I had one girlfriend in primary school, and I've had one girlfriend since. So it's pretty much 50% of my experience of dating experience summed up right there.
Well, I'll up that. I will up that. I think for me, dating in primary school would be about 80%. I had this one year in year 6, and I was the hot topic. Pretty sure
Were you the transfer kid or something? Because you moved
yeah,
around
I did
a
move
bit.
around. This was in WA, and I was actually it was my last year before I left. And I actually had to break up with a girl on the last day of school because I was moving to Queensland. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude, wait, stop. That means she could be the one. Because you never broke it off because you were incompatible. She could be the one you're waiting for, the one you're looking for.
Damn, I hadn't thought of it like that.
What's she doing right now? Do you know?
I don't know. Oh man, I can't remember her name.
Oh, bro, you gotta
Just gotta
find her.
shout out.
No, bro, you gotta find her, dude. For the next episode, I want you to do your homework. You've clearly outlined you've got some stalking skills.
This is true.
You need to find that girl.
I think
bro.
I could.
Go through old school pictures. I need to know. Anyway, keep going.
So anyway, we'll go back to my first girlfriend in primary school, and she lived like obviously where I lived in this tiny town.
What grade?
Year 6. Obviously, year 6 was a big one, and
Alright. The year 6 was big for me as well.
I'd love to hear it. So I was like dating this girl obviously at school. Obviously, I got my friend to ask her out because I'm not some kind of psychopath that goes and talks to girls themselves.
No, of
God
course.
damn.
Naturally.
Yeah, I'll save that until I'm, 30. That's why we have dating apps. But then once you kind of, I just remembered another story. So same girl, and
Oh
she
my God,
she gave me
dude.
her number, like home phone number, because there's no mobiles. So that,
Classic.
and then I called her home phone number off of my home phone, and it was the wrong number. And so I called it like a couple of times. This angry old man kept answering. He's like, "Stop calling here." And I'm like looking at this number that I had written down on this piece of paper, and I was like, "But it has to be this number." So
Pubescent hormonal DOS is getting gradually more and more frustrated with the situation.
yeah, so I called him like 5 times. And to the extent of, I'm pretty sure he unplugged his home phone, which is pretty easy back then. It was pretty easy to block out the world. And then the next day I got the right number, and she only lived around the corner from me, so I just like got on my bike and went over there, and she's like, "Oh yeah, my neighbour's built a jump in the street." And I was like, "Oh cool, I'll come round." So I rode around, and then there's a few people there. There's a few of my mates there as well because, again, tiny town, so everyone's there. And I had this wooden jump that they just like put on the bitumen road, and it was
Oh, no.
it was probably literally would have been about a foot off the ground, the end of it. And I was like, "Yeah, all right, yeah, I'll have a crack. I'll see how it goes."
Oh,
So
no.
I'm on my bike and I'm like pedaling down the hill, nothing too fast. And I don't even think I'd done a bunny hop. I don't think my wheels had ever left the ground before this moment. And then as soon as they left the ground, I don't even know what happened, but somehow within that foot of space, I've gone straight over the handlebars and just like landed straight on the bitumen. And my hands are just cut up,
Dude.
blood everywhere. One of the girls comes over and she's like,
Man.
"Oh, my mum's a nurse, like, come, we can help." And I was like, I was like, nah, I'm just gonna go home. Like, I only live around the corner, and then I just like pushed my bike home because I was like traumatized. I was like, I'm not going back on a bike.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that.
And what about was the chick impressed or?
Oh yeah, we dated for the rest of the term. It was a big story.
Hell
we
yeah,
were talking
dude.
the town.
Oh, there's Stacy and that Gumby boy.
Shout out to Meg Bond if you're listening. Thanks for the first date.
Wait. Oh, really? Okay. I thought that was the girl you suddenly remembered.
Oh no. This was the one that we did.
A different
broke
story.
up. I don't know why we broke up, but I guess it goes back to step 5. Love is dead.
Well, I've got some stories of my own. I've actually had some time to think because I had a very informal but actual girlfriend in grade 3, which was pretty serious actually from memory. We would, when you'd have to stand in 2 lines, you'd have to hold hands to walk from classroom to classroom.
I still have to.
What are you doing? What are you doing in school still?
Can you cut that?
These primary school dating stories aren't supposed to be.
No, I meant at
stories,
uni.
dude.
They made me walk hand in hand.
But yeah, I always had her sort of to do that, which was pretty serious for grade 3. I've got to say. Grade 6 though, again a big year. I think we can all agree it was a big year. That was when I had my first primary school girlfriend. And I've got to say, there was no greater feeling than when your friend comes back and he says, mate, she's keen. She's in favour. And you've just gone, you beauty. And you've sent your best mate, you sent the bloke
Your
that's going
most
to be able to get the
reliable
message across in
source.
the best way.
Yeah.
Exactly. Someone that's not going to white ant you as well, because they might take that chance to possibly, snavel a guy for themselves. Grade 6 doggy, no. Like I
Savage
said,
world.
puberty, hormones, you can't try.
He might be swiping right.
Even your own brother. But I just remember going to the movies was just like this insanely, for me at least, I was like so nervous, and the best part about the movie was that you wouldn't have to talk to him because you were just so. I mean, I was just so freaked out, like, oh my god, this is really happening. And then it's like during the movie, you remember from all the TV shows, you got to do the yawn, which I've pulled off my fair share of yawns. Wrap around the arm around the shoulder play, that kind of stuff. But those are the beautiful pure days, dude. These days, you suggest a movie. I don't know. It's definitely not a first date plan, is it?
No. Oh, it can be. But also it shouldn't be. But that's a different piece of advice that I'm more than happy to offer.
You're right. You're right.
I think back then it was...
First dates could be a good episode.
Back then it was all about the messenger. MSN. MSN was king. Well, actually, I think that was...
MSN.
Yeah, that was nearly like the earliest years of high school, I reckon, was MSN.
Yeah.
And
I even towards the later ends of primary school, I think MSN was really coming up because I know we'd go to horse camps and you'd meet everyone and then everyone you wanted to keep in touch with. You'd get on MSN and then...
You want to readdress that?
What?
What kind of camps are you going on?
Horse camps, bro. Horse camps. What are you laughing at?
Oh, man.
What do you think I said? What do you think I said? I'm saying horse camps.
I know what you're saying, but it just doesn't sound right. Man, you might actually. I'm starting to see why you had so many girlfriends at primary school. Man, you would have been so cool with your horse camps. Did you get little horse camp badges?
Horse camps. What are your horse camp badges? I got a feeling that you don't understand how illustrious horse camps are. Anyway, we'd go to horse camps, and it was great. Camps. I don't know if you did out of school camps where you just go with a bunch of random people, and you'd have to make friends in like the first 1 or 2 days. Groups would be made, and then little romances would form, and they'd go from there. But yeah, you get them on MSN, and then that was like people's profile, their Facebook or their Instagram. You got an idea of who they were because they'd have the big status that it would have, it'd be their name is online, and it was always in most cases, some goofy name. Like I remember there was this girl who had Drain Bramaged was her, MSN named, and then she had, then everyone would have these great statuses or the song they were listening to. MSN was actually, come to think of it, a really cutting edge social media back.
Well,
in
that's the thing. I think it's still the learnings we had from MSN are still relevant today. Because, like back then you'd be like, obviously we see crushes online. You'd sign in, sign out so that your name keeps popping up saying you're online. And it's the same thing.
That's good, dude. I never did that. That's a good tip.
There you go. Well,
where were you in primary school, dude? I needed to meet you earlier.
Yeah. Well, I'm still going to provide the advice now because especially me in lockdown and working from home, when you see your bosses online, you make sure that your light's green. You make sure that you're signed in. And even if you're not on the computer, man, I'll go for coffees. I'll go for a walk. I'll do a workout, but I'll make sure that I'm, touching my mouse, making sure that I'm live in the chat. I'm ready for meetings. I'm ready.
Dos, why is that important? I haven't done work from home yet because I live in Queensland and I live in a special part of Queensland as well that's 0 cases. We've never had a real lockdown.
Again, 10 people.
Why? Yeah, we're always social distance even when the whole town gets together pretty much. But is the idea so that your boss knows you're online? Is that the strategy?
Yeah, 100%. You want to say that? Oh man, should I say this? Yeah. I don't think anyone from work will listen. But so, obviously, when you start at 8:30 and you're working in the office, you wake up an hour early or even longer, and go get to the office. But when you're starting at 8:30 from home, you wake up. I don't even leave the bed, and I'll set the alarm for 8:25, and I'll wake up. I'll just lean over, open up my laptop, smack a few buttons so that it signs in, and then it shows them online, and then I'll just sit in my bed and just well up the courage to prepare for another day of work.
Dos, maybe there's a standalone episode in lockdown strats, advanced lockdown strats, a timely, relevant rogue guide. Because not that I'd have too much to offer, but this is gold that you're providing here, dude.
Yeah, it's plausible.
This is some of your best stuff of the episode right now. This is the throwaway comments, and you're decided to give all of these nuggets.
Well, to be honest, I'm really hoping this podcast takes off because if these nuggets get out, I'm gonna be out of a job. So.
Yeah, true. All right, brilliant. Well, Dos, I would say on that note, we've come to the end of yet another classic episode. Probably one of our best episodes so far.
Top 2, easily.
Wow. Damn. You're
it's even with me carrying your chit chat for most of the episode.
Mate, this was a sober episode. Stone cold.
Oh, you can
nothing
tell.
But water all day.
I can already see in the live comments that are streaming all over my computer. People saying, man, Frost is not bringing anything to the table.
This is dry, bro. This guy's lost it, man. He showed such promise in all of those episodes before this one that he's really fallen off.
He's peaked.
Well, if you want to go and relive those great episodes, episode 1, for example, you can go and find us pretty much wherever you go to stream. Wherever you want, search the Rogue Guide, Spotify, iTunes, Apple, wherever it is. Listen to episode 1, and of course, stay tuned and subscribe, or whatever the plan is, for episode 3 and all of the incredible nuggets of wisdom that Dost has actually finally proven he has to share that could change your life for the better.
That's it. That's what we're here for. We're here to help. We're here to give you that road guide and change your life.